This afternoon, stakeholder warns against politicizing education in Rivers State. Anambra State Governor-elect Professor Chukwuma Soludo gives victory speech. 29 families submit DNA samples days after building collapse in Lagos. Court advanced trial of Nnamdi Kanu to next year. On the foreign scene, Poland faces attempts to bridge border with Belarus overnight. I am Ifiemi Andrew. The Association of Parents of Private School Students has warned against politicizing education in Rivers State. President of the association, Dr. Ovi Chukwuma, stated this in an interview with correspondent Choma Ezewafo.
We are not training our children to be equipped to be capable of taking care of themselves. Our heritage is becoming a problem because of the kind of education they are getting. So they should not play politics with education. They should be sincere, whether in one party or the other. If the commissioner said they spent 1 billion, let it be so. And people should be very careful when they make utterances on education, so that it will not affect the common destiny of the state and the nation. Education is everything.
Dr. Chukwuma, however, called on all stakeholders in the education sector to work together for the development of the state.
We need higher dimension of knowledge to be able to cope and reduce suffering, reduce terrorism, reduce hunger, armed robbery, and all this. It's only knowledge that can sort us out, which is a basic fundamental human right for people to have, education for the betterment of the society, safety of the society, security, and everything. Posterity will not forgive them. Don't care whether it's the governor, whether it's the commission, posterity will not forgive them for every retrogressive effort they are making to bring us backward.
Earlier, some residents of the state continue to criticize the poor state of basic education. It followed reports that the state government has failed to pay for the NECO registration of students in public schools. Earlier, the Commissioner for Education, Kaniye Beku, is criticized, saying over 1 billion naira has been paid to sponsor River students in examinations including WAEC, NAPTEP, JAM and NECO. In a statement, the Commissioner described contrary reports as political jabs. Yesterday, some residents of the state also said the government has failed in the aspect of education. Others called for the resignation of the Commissioner.
The Rivers State government has not in any way helped in education. How will on earth the Rivers State government promise to pay NECO fees for students? And at the end of the day, today, these students have nothing there.
There's a situation where students sit in an environment where students distrust them. There is this NECO children, this is for the development of human capital in Rivers State.
They said they happened last year. When we say Rivers State government did not pay NECO bid for Rivers State, the commissioner came out that it's a lie, that they paid. Rivers State government does not have law for basic education.
Earlier, APC chieftain in Rivers State, Dakoko Peterside, criticized Governor Yeson Wike over the state of education.
It is not his priority sector. Meanwhile, education is the way to secure the future. And you can see the manifestation of his lack of interest in education in multiple dimensions. Today, Rivers State students cannot access their NECO results because the state government is owing NECO. In Obiapo, the governor's local government, in Eche, do not have teachers in critical subjects. The same state government, from inception in 2015 to today, has not employed teachers across the state.
Dr. Peterside also said many schools have been shut down across the state due to inadequate teaching personnel.
Even when you go around these schools, they don't have teaching aids to help impart knowledge. The governor had said he doesn't want heads of schools to charge fees for anything. Meanwhile, you have not given them impress. It's either you want the teachers or the heads of school management to charge fees, or you don't want the schools to function. And going around schools, you have noticed that most of our schools are not functional and cannot compete in 21st century Nigeria. It's unfortunate. Time will tell. He will be held to account for the resources entrusted to his care.
Meanwhile, Educationist Lawrence Chukwu has called for urgent employment of qualified teachers, stating that this present administration has shown disregard for education.
Honestly speaking, it is highly embarrassing for Rivers State and Rivers people that at this point in time, we lack teachers to teach our pupils in primary and secondary schools. Yet, we claim to be putting projects here and there, ignoring education that is the foundation of growth in whatever thing we are doing. I am urging on the governor of Rivers State to please employ teachers that will teach our primary and secondary school students, and also send those that are already employed to training. The schools we have in Rivers State, apart from dilapidation of most of these secondary schools, are grossly understaffed. The government cannot claim that they are not aware because it has been on all the media waves. So they are aware. Posting of teachers, where are you going to post? People that are non-existent. Secondary schools, the one that has teachers, they are not even enough. They are not even enough. So the government needs to employ teachers. We have qualified teachers who are looking for jobs. In those communities where schools are under lock and key, tell me what fate will befall on those students and communities tomorrow.
Also, parents whose children attend community primary school Umba in Ichie told our correspondent that the school has been deserted for 4 years.
It's terrible. Terrible. You see your children at home when their mates are going to school. And the emphasis this day in the modern world is education. You can imagine for 4 years, 3 years, your own children in the whole community are not going to school. You can imagine the CPS. Mba is one of the oldest primary schools in the whole of Ichie. It has produced several personalities. So we are calling on men of goodwill, lovers of education, to help us bring teachers to the school so that other people can also school. Like our chief told you, letters have been written to the schools board, primary schools board, and the help has not been coming.
We appeal that the state government should please help us, at least mobilize us with the teachers. Because such a school that is well modernized, we deserve to have a teacher that's supposed to teach there.
Recall that a report by Nigeria Info FM said community primary school Umba has been deserted for 4 years. The River State Universal Basic Education Board issued a query to the head teacher of the school, Vincent Obisike. Meanwhile, our correspondent gathered that the school is still not functioning. Moving on, Anambra State Governor-elect Professor Chukwuma Soludo has promised to ensure that he fully implements his manifesto and also build on the success of the current administration. Professor Soludo made the promise in a television interview after INEC announced him winner of the election.
We launched our manifesto where we outlined our contract with the people of Anambra State, and which is partly continuity, part consolidation, and part transformation agenda to continue to build on the foundation led by our forebears, including our ably working governor, giving us an international airport, national convention center, relative security, and all the goodies which the people of the state enjoy and for which they applaud him and trust APGA.
Mr. Soludo also spoke on how he never expected to be governor of the state.
It's really it's this moment that you look back and you have nothing but gratitude to the Almighty God for seeing us this far. You know, I said all through the campaign that I am a child from humble beginning, and you could say during the campaign, one of the, in fact, the brand that was used to really project to the people of Anambra was Chale, the son of Mbafo, Chale Mwambafo, and that actually resonated, and you see, for me, very emotional. She died, but we trudged on. Life continued, and God has been eminently very, very kind.
On his part, APGA chieftain Senator Victor Ume has called on all candidates to work with the winner to develop Anambra State.
They should concede this victory to Professor Soludo and APGA. Because if you look at the results, it is very clear that the people made a clear choice of somebody who will be their governor. The election was transparently conducted, and there's nothing to challenge the outcome from. So they should know that politics and the elections are things that people should not be desperate about. When the people choose you, you go on. If they don't choose you, you wait for another time.
Meanwhile, APC agent in the just concluded Anambra governorship election, Chibuzo Jiako, says the party will review the election to determine its next line of action.
Election is a process. This is the end of this particular phase of it. The results that were announced today was not what we expected. We will go back, our campaign will meet, the party will also meet and decide what to do next. What happened in different places, obviously there were so many local governments that were not really completed. So we have a lot of questions, but we have to sit down and look at it and see what makes sense.
Voters during the election advised INEC to ensure effective functioning of the BVAS and to address issues of logistics that causes delay of elections. Still on the Anambra State election, the State Police Command has denied claims that gunmen engaged security operatives in a 3-hour shooting at Ihiala local government area yesterday. Correspondent Kenichiko Former reported shootings in Lilu, Osumogu and Iseke areas during the supplementary election in Ihiala. But the head police media for the 2021 Anambra gubernatorial election, DSP Nwode in Keruka, in a statement said what happened was security operatives on patrol invaded the hideout of some gunmen who had planned to attack venues of the supplementary election. Justice Binta Inyako of the Federal High Court in Abuja has adjourned the trial of the acclaimed leader of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, to January 7, 19 and 20, 2022. Still ahead, 29 families submit DNA samples days after building collapse in Lagos. Stay tuned.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
About 29 families have come forward to submit samples for DNA to identify bodies of victims of the Ikoyi building collapse in Lagos. The Lagos State Commissioner for Information, Benga Motosho, confirmed this in a statement. He said bodies will be released to families with clear identification beginning from this week. The statement also said that the committee, which comprises of senior officials of the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Justice, are to supervise the process. Meanwhile, the panel of inquiry set up by Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu to find out the reason behind the collapse of the building and suggest ways to avoid a repeat has continued its sitting. Operations are still ongoing at the site of the collapsed building. In business, the federal government has proposed a national housing bond to enable developers of buildings access financing for mass and affordable projects nationwide. The Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, who made this public in Abuja, said there was the need to improve financing for the housing sector to the benefit of Nigerians, both in urban and rural areas. Fashola said the bond aimed to raise capital that would be used to finance the development of housing infrastructure in the country. In entertainment, creator and director of Squid Game, Wang Dong-hak, has confirmed that the Netflix TV series will be back for a second season. Dong revealed this in an interview at an event for the series. In sports, Super Eagles head coach Kenneth Raw has kicked against the proposition that the World Cup tournament be held every 2 years. Raw said it will be difficult because the dates are already so fixed and there is no time to do other qualifiers, tournaments or playoffs.
And now, we'll bring you news from around the world.
Poland has faced many attempts to breach the border with Belarus overnight, but now has 15,000 troops to repel them. At least 2,000 migrants have become stranded at the border at the center of an escalating international row. For months, the EU and now NATO and the US have accused Belarus's leader, Alexander Lukashenko, of provoking a renewed refugee crisis in Europe. On the news this afternoon, you heard that a stakeholder has warned against politicizing education in Rivers State. The Anambra State Governor-elect, Professor Chukuma Soludo, has promised to fully implement his manifesto in his first TV interview after election victory. The court has adjourned the trial of Nnamdi Kanu to January next year. 29 families have submitted DNA samples days after the building collapse in Lagos. On the foreign scene, we told you that Poland is to face attempts to breach border with Belarus. The news is edited by Choma Ezenwafo. For more stories, visit www.nigeriainfo.fm. Partly cloudy weather is expected in Port Harcourt this afternoon. My name is Ifiemi Andrew. Thank you for your time.